is interviewing. But the problem, not only that she doesn't understand anything about public education and has never been in a public school and doesn't know that charter schools are public schools, none of that. What she really wants to do is to get vouchers so that people can buy into parochial schools. And that is a conflict of church and state. And he's got to be able to find some Republicans that still care about the division of church and state. Please ask him to try and find some Republicans that stand for that. And get her on that.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. If I can follow up on that, the premise of this meeting on the Moveon side, I think was talking about cabinet appointments. So there's so many topics, but I just want to add to that in terms of what's the priority cabinet appointments that everyone I know is very worried about, concerned about,
Tom Price.
I would like to add to I have 3 kids in public school here, and I think it's really important. That I think is just a top issue for just about everyone I know with kids. And the fact that Senator Franken can make a statement, be an advocate for the fact that public schools are the cornerstone of our democracy. Absolutely. And the cornerstone of the middle class in this country.
And they need more support now.
And the vouchers won't help the poor because there won't be enough money. The rich will be considered
and the tax breaks for private schools.
And also, public schools are the cornerstone of.
He's on the health committee. What other committees is he on?
The assimilation process for immigrants who come in to enrich our country, which is nothing new. My grandparents were immigrants, and my parents and didn't speak English, and my parents benefited from the public schools, and that's the same thing that's happening today with our immigrant communities that are moving up and bettering themselves. It's nothing new.
I had a question here about what committees does Senator Franken sit on. He sits on the Health Committee, so that's Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions. He sits on the Energy and Natural Resources Committee, the Judiciary Committee, the Senate Committee on Indian Affairs.
work on that pipeline.
I think those are.
Is this all on your website?
Yes.
Are we alarmed by the amount of people that are climate change deniers and skeptics that are being nominated?
Yeah.
Will Senator Franken commit to voting against any legislation that weakens public schools?
That's an awfully broad. I'm trying to think through what scenarios he wouldn't vote for something like that.
Well, that diverts money from private schools to charter schools.
Senator Franken
will commit to that.
That's hard to say.
Let's not have.
I'm not his education policy advisor, so I don't want to shoot into the issues. Senator Franken is a strong supporter of our public schools, so I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, and I want to remind everybody again, this is supposed to be focused on this is resist Trump Tuesdays and agenda today is cabinet. So maybe we want to take, just shall we come up with our 3 horrors to focus on?
Can we make it
Well, I don't know how you want to do it, but something like that. We've got to come up with a succinct message.
Well, I've heard quite a few concerns, and I'm certainly willing to pass these along to the Senator Franken.
Well, we heard concern education sessions.
Through it with the EPA.
Those are 3 horrors. The list is so awful. Perry is incompetent. Perry.
Pruitt, EPA, and
I don't know. Well, one of the things, but I think everyone kind of knows that, particularly here. I mean, this is the most money cabinet, in the conflicts of interest, but that's all been raised. It'd be nice, well, we're just beginning. This is the Minnesota mini embryonic anti-Trump movement.
Got a hand up over here.
I think we can all agree that the entire cabinet is a hot mess right now, and that we don't agree with any of the appointments. So I think that, yes, getting a succinct message that to Senator Franken that he can actually be our voice on is very important. So I think if anybody agrees, Price, Sessions, and DeVos are the top.
Well, and and those are all.
But, I think just to add to that, I mean, what are people most concerned about? The average people with families, whatever.
Education.
Healthcare.
Education
And rule of law.
And
But
law.
all those things are moot if we can't drink clean water like they did in Franken.
Yep.
We can't breathe clean air.
Look, I want Franken to
Yeah, but-
keep doing exactly
No,
what he's
but
doing,
you're right.
and really hard on the cabinet.
Yeah.
And the use of the
Absolutely.
example just so later.
Yep.
That's exactly what he's doing, and that's right.
Sure. Hannah, up here.
I don't know if Senator Franken has any influence on Senator Klobuchar, but we need a united Democratic Senate front.
Yes.
And
United.
Amy yesterday voted in favor of Pompeo, and that was just devastating to me, because she came to Mayflower Church on the day of action and said the Democrats are more united than ever before. So if he has any ability to influence Amy or any other Democratic senators, we
And
just
moderate
need them to
Republicans.
be unified. The only possible power they have is through unity.
The only thing I would say to that is Senator Klobuchar is also your senator. You know, feel free to speak up to her office just as you are to ours. I'm sure you are. You know, we try to keep to what we can influence Senator Franken on as his office, but I can certainly pass.
But I
I
guess
think this lady had a good.
I would say, but I guess for us, it's not making that demand, but making that request to him that he spends time lobbying his colleagues, including our Senator Klobuchar, and also moderate Republicans, because we're going to need them too, and they do exist, and we're behind him.
Sure.
Yeah. We appreciate his interviews; they've been fantastic.
Got a hand over here, sure.
Yeah, 2 days before the inauguration, there were 18 Jewish organizations in the United States that had bomb threats.
Yeah.
I was born in Greece, I'm Jewish. 100 of my relatives during World War II were rounded up, put in cattle cars, driven to concentration camps, gassed and burned. Okay, I know this senator is also Jewish. We can't allow Donald Duck to involve these people, and that's what he's done. The Ku Klux Klan, the white supremacists, and the neo-Nazis. You know, we cannot allow this to happen.
Senator Franken was extremely alarmed at those reports as well. He put out a statement that day of solidarity with the Jewish community, obviously, and supporting them. It's something that we will certainly keep an eye on, trying to figure out how we can counter a message of hate, certainly.
Well, I think he needs to bring up every time he talks that he is a white supremacist. Trump does, as his senior advisor, first appointment he made as a mother of Jewish children. You can see I'm going to start to cry. I can't
He gives
believe
aid
it.
and comfort to these ideas. He has through his whole campaign.
Well, there's some of us who have racially mixed grandchildren. I have a racially mixed grandson who was captain of the Roseville football team and the wrestling team. He's been stopped 4 times by the Roseville police for walking in his neighborhood. And when a neighbor had to talk to the police and say, no, this boy lives in this neighborhood, because it's a very nice neighborhood. So that affects the Department of Justice. And when a young man gets shot in Falcon Heights, which was part of my neighborhood, across the street where my children went to school, that to me is shocking. And what is troubling is there aren't any people of color here.
No, there
And
are.
so that's what I'm saying, if we go to knock, if we go to where those people
Our organizer is.
You saw it sign.
She's holding a sign outside.
Okay, I was kind of stuck on spot, and I was thinking, why my daughter kept saying she was on the news.
So that was appeared in the March. It was no, but I'm saying
I can do that. My supervisor's not going to yell. None of my
but
staff
if
has
you
come.
look at the whole March.
I'm just building on your comment.
At least we're here.
We're asking Al Franken to continue to be strong. We as citizens are finally getting engaged.
Well, it was a heck of a wake-up call.
We, beyond this, organization, beyond coming here, we go into our workplaces and talk.
Yes.
We
Yes,
go
that's right.
into and talk to our neighbors.
Yes.
We talk to people who disagree with us.
Show up at a Black
and we
Lives
share
Matter rally.
and
Yes.
we share our stories. We have to stay engaged.
Right.
And make sure that you share this with people who are not thinking like we are, because your story can make a difference.
And following, I'm following on.
Getting married. We call them.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt.
And following on that, we can all contact our friends and relatives in other states.
Yes.
In purple states, purple districts. And encourage them to get involved. Let them know about Moveon, Indivisible, and all the helps that these organizations are providing.
To build on what you said about attending a Black Lives Matter rally,
I think we have to remember, yes, I completely agree with everything that's been said about being engaged, and we have to fight on. We have to remember, this state went blue, but not
Barely.
Not by a sliver. Exactly, and, you know, and it's not just being blue, but it's the issues that we care about. And if, so, we can't be too smug.
I just want to give this corner a chance to stand up since I've had my back to them the entire time. Sorry about that. Sure.
you were talking about attending a Black Lives Matter rally. That was one of the big issues about the nationwide march, was that people of color were barely there, and they were saying, all these people, 2.9 million people showed up. Where were you when Black Lives Matter was
Right.
I think that's a different
protesting?
issue.
Where were you when?
Because Black Lives
That's right.
Matter has not been represented accurately in the media.
Yes.
We are not talking about it accurately with our friends and neighbors.
Right.
My daughter goes to Ben Mays. I don't know if anyone knows it.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
West
Ivy
7th?
Ivy World School. It's not on West 7th. It's on
Concordia?
Dale. Yeah, it's on Concordia and Dale. She is the only white student in her classroom, and she still benefits from that privilege. Wonderful teacher, gives my daughter the benefit of the doubt for behavioral mistakes and not the other children, and it is clear it's because she's a cute little white girl. That's unacceptable. And so that's something where we all need to look at our own privilege. We need to continue to check our own privilege. We all have it. We all have areas in which we are not privileged, and this is true as well. So we need to remember those areas. I mean, ladies, we know what it's like to be judged by our appearances unfairly and unjustly, and be treated unfairly and unjustly because of our appearance. We can all take that knowledge and we can extrapolate. We can think, okay, I know a fraction of how that feels. How can I help? I can take that out into the community, and I can be an advocate, and I can check my own privilege, I can remind others of theirs, and I can show up and I can support them. Because I can tell you in DC, Black Lives Matter was there, it was chanted, they were there representing, and we were there supporting. Black men were supporting us, ladies. They were chanting her body, her choice. And we were there to stand up for them as well.
Police, if you look in photographs at the march with women, police were wearing the hats and getting involved and happy, taking pictures with these women, but at a Black Lives Matter, they are suited up, geared up, ready to go.
Yes.
And that's one concern I have.
Because some of this stuff falls under the jurisdiction of the Department of Justice.
Yes.
And Trump has already, and they have a whole agenda to bring back stop and frisk and all that. And if you have a young black man in your family, you have to teach him ways to deal with the police that we never had to. And if you have a grandson that is actually growing up in a white family, but he's black, he doesn't have the advantage of those black families. But those things can be handled by the Department of Justice, and they've been pretty good at holding police departments to their feet to the fire if they're treating our citizens because of their color unfairly.
So would you say Sessions is more important than Price?
They're all.
Yeah,
they're all
important.
Why can't he
can't say that.
Why do we have to do that?
Should we